So you're stuck at home with the coronavirus quarantine, and you're pretty bored at this point, I imagine. So let's figure out some interesting games you can play with you and your family. Sequence. This 2 to 12 player game is for folks aged 7 and up who love games of strategy and chance. The goal is to simultaneously play a card from your hand and place a chip on the corresponding space on the game board in order to get 5 in a row. Although it seems pretty simple to do, landing the perfect sequence is deceptively so. Codename. It's a fast-paced, team-based, spy-themed word game in which each player tries to guess each other's secret agent identities in response to one-word clue. It's ideal for 2 to 8 or more players, aged 14 and up. In it, teams compete until someone makes contact with all of their agents first, all while avoiding the assassin. Scrabble. No collection of family board games would be complete without this absolute classic that was conceived way back in 1931. The game can be played with 2 to 4 players or 4 teams, and letter tiles with varying point values are combined to form words, crossword style on the game board. Although it's designed for those aged 8 and up, it's the most fun when it's played among those with similar reading, spelling, and skill level. Catan. This hexagonal board game of trading strategy, tactical skills, and luck makes it a favorite among die-hard board gamers, both for its easy rules and its fast pace. It takes roughly 1 hour to complete. The objective is to tame the remote Isle of Catan by trading, building, and settling its many regions, and ultimately beating out other players in building cities, roads, and monopolies to conquer the resource-rich territory. There are numerous expansion packs too, including a version for 5 to 6 players, rather than the standard 3 to 4, one for young kids, and even a Game of Thrones edition. Monopoly. Although its origin story is a somewhat sad one, this Depression-era game has remained one of the best, if not the best, family board games of all time. Land grabbing, dirty deals, and yes, building monopolies are all fair game as you progress around the board until opponents go belly up. Perhaps as notorious as the game's cutthroat practices, more than a few familiar battles have been fought in its name, is the fact that it takes several hours to play. It's best for 2 to 6 players ages 8 and up. Pandemic. If the dog-eat-dog dynamics of Monopoly aren't your speed, consider this cooperative game in which everyone works together to stop the spread of global outbreaks and epidemics before mankind is wiped out. Players take on roles, doctors, scientists, applying their creative problem-solving skills in ways that are at once complex, strategic, and extremely fun. This game is ideal for teens and adults with 2 to 4 players. Clewd. Board game to movie spin-offs are rare indeed, but the fact that this 1948 classic, back then it was called Clewd, spawned a successful cult film only helps cement this whodunit's celebrated status. 2 to 6 players ages 8 and up compete to solve a murder set inside a sprawling mansion to determine the location, the weapon used, and the guilty party. Trouble. This race and chase game is surprisingly addictive, and its rules are super straightforward. Dice are cast by the classic Pop-O-Matic bubble, and each player's 4 pieces need to round the board. The trick is not getting into trouble, aka getting bumped back to square one, and circling the board before any of your competitors. It's especially fun for younger kids aged 5 to 15, and is designed for 2 to 4 players. Brokers. Like the addictive 1980s era computer graphics game Tetris, this game too requires strategy and spatial reasoning. Square tiles, red, blue, green, and yellow, must be placed next to those of the same color and cleverly positioned to block those of your opponents. Whoever fits the most of their own pieces on the board wins. The game is appropriate for 2 to 4 players ages 7 and up. Upwards. This one's kind of like Scrabble, but with a 3-dimensional twist. Lettered tiles are stacked horizontally and vertically to build new words or add to existing ones onto the Lazy Susan style rotating game board. The higher you stack, the higher your score for 2 to 4 players ages 10 and up.